Good morning, it's the next day and we are going to install Hexagon Mosaic on the ceiling. Wish me luck. Okay, here we go. I am using H40 slow set, that's my centre line. So I know I'm good with that. It's not the first ceiling. Probably ain't going to be the last. If you are doing a ceiling, don't do the floor first. Or if you have to do the floor first, make sure you cover it up. Okay, here we go. Wally. It's that way. Before you tap the next one home, eye the joint through. Okay, make sure the line that you're running with is square and you get that square joint, then tap. Right, the mosaic is in. I've cut the cuts to go around the perimeter, so I've finished on 1/2 and 1/2, which is what I scaled it to. I've cut all my halves, ready to go in. As I said, this is slow set that I'm using. So up there will be fine. It will still be soft, but I'm going to have to wipe the back of every single one. And there is 58 in total. So I'll be finished this side of Christmas. And yeah, mosaic is listen, they never ever look perfect unless there's 2 ways, right? And I'm going to tell you the 2 ways, and realistically, right, it's not feasible. The only 2 ways that you can get them perfect is if you lay them on the sheet yourself, okay? Or you take them off and lay them individually. Now, I would probably go with the latter. However, that would take far too long, okay? And for the cost of that, I don't know, I'm not going to say never, but someone may pay for that, but I wouldn't promise. The time scale is just far too long. It would take too long. And second of all, they're the only 2 ways. It's the only 2 ways, because they're not actually, the tile is not actually square, okay? The actual hexagon is not square. I took them down to cut on the machine, and yeah, they wasn't square. Putting them up against the guide, they're not square, and they're not square on the sheet. Hence why, for instance, here, this one needs a spacer in it. Where you gone? There. That needs a spacer in it just to hold that off. They're a nightmare. They are a nightmare for anyone who has a good eye. Mosaic is a nightmare. Yeah, it's a painstaking job. It takes a lot of time. I mean, I've spent the time setting this out. I like to try and get everything as perfect as possible. That's just me, how I work. By setting out this border, the perimeter edges, making it work from full tile to full tile, so that when I put my cuts in, they're all halves. And overall, it looks clean. But I'm fighting with tile that is not square. All the hexagon is not, they're not straight, okay? And they're not straight on the sheet. So you have to just do the best with your eye as possible. But when it comes to the detail work, which this is a detail, you know, you just have to find a way of making it look nice, but they're not perfect. I don't think they was ever designed to be perfect, to be honest. I've never seen a perfect mosaic ever. And I'll tell you what the perfect mosaic to have is, I installed it on a last job, and if you follow me on social media, priMo bathrooms, you'll see it. They're the best mosaics to have, by far, because they don't create any straight lines, for one, and they just look good. Much easier to install, therefore, you know, it's a quicker process. This way, you're trying to get straight lines and make it look perfect, but you can't, because the tile isn't perfect. Set on the sheet or individuals, they're not straight, they're not square. The cuts, shape of them is not right. So, what do? You just have to do your best. Once it's grouted, it will take your eye off, because these lines are dark at the moment, but when they're white grout, it'll all blend in and you'll see the beauty of it then. But up until then, you just got to grin and bear it. It's the only way. And try not to look at it too much, because you move one, then it'll make you want to move the one next to it, and then the one next to that, and then before you know it, you're moving about 2 meters worth of tile, where really it's not going to make any difference because they're all not straight. So it is what it is. Someone needs a little bit more. Someone with my attention to detail. This is painful. It's painful because I can't do anything about the tile. The tile is what it is. The only thing, oh, careful, the quality of before they had probably machines and stuff like that cuts all these tile, they're done by hand. All the old Mosaic, you know, all the old original, like the quality of the cutting of the material was so much better back then, and they didn't have the machinery or the technology that we have today, but yet the quality that we got today is worse than it was before the machines were even invented to do a job. So the ceiling is tiled. Trying to show you with some light. It's afraid it's going to flicker all over the screen. There it is. All tiled, sealed, ready for grout. Okay, now that's been grouted. as you've just seen. First wash, very light. You just want to take some of the grout off. You don't want to kill it because the water will just sit in the joints, break down the grout, and then you'll have dips and holes. Leave it to go off a little bit more. Okay. And then you'll have perfect grout joints, nice and flush. Okay, you can see that starting to dry with a nice haze. It's almost ready to sponge down again. If you're not sure, you can test it and just see how much comes out when you sponge over it. Yeah, it's not ready yet. Patience. This is currently what it looks like as it's drying. It's just hazing up. You don't want to clean it massively on the first go. Just try and lose that shadow. Just want it to pick up a little bit more, so it's a bit firmer, so when you sponge it, you don't drag it out of the joint. And all that's left now is a microfiber polish, just to take the haze off the face. Just a light one.